Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 10 of the Seinfeld podcast. We're Serenity now, Bourbon later. We are the Van Bourbon Boys, John and Josh. So we got today is season one, episode 5 of Seinfeld, and our bourbon, Josh, fill them in.
This is 13th Colony. This is the maple wood spiral finished version. It's a little bit newer. I hadn't had much of their stuff. They're double oaked. It's super popular. It's very hard to find. So I picked this one up. I like the shape of the bottle too.
Yeah,
We got a little willet pot still going on here, but of course it's not like this tall.
yeah,
So for folks on the audio, not the video, it's got a little height on it, but it's not so obnoxious as the Willet Pot Still bottle. But I've had this. I've been into this bottle. John hasn't, so we'll definitely get his opinion today. And it's maple wood spiral finish. So I don't think we've talked about this on the podcast. For bourbons, you can't add flavor. Okay, you can't pour in maple syrup. It's not a bourbon anymore, but you can finish it with wood, and so it's finished with maple wood. So
yeah.
there
The
you go.
bottle, the bottle itself is cool. It reminds me of like a port wine or like a port bottle or something to that effect, or even a brandy. And again, like I said before on the show, I'm a big fan of finishes because you can go so many directions and it's not artificially finished. It's by law, finished as a bourbon. So
There you go. Yep, we're still a bourbon. I don't know if I have much of an age statement or anything going on. It is 56.5%. So that's the 113 proof. So that's a little higher than I thought it was, honestly. I don't know that we have an age statement, but it's a higher proof for a finished bourbon. So I like that.
yeah,
I'm not seeing an age statement. I'm gonna guess somewhere around 4 or 5 years. Of course, this is from South Georgia, Americus, Georgia. So you're going to get a little hotter. So even some shorter years, they're going to get a little bit more age on it. Color's a little light, but
yeah. It's a little light, but it has some of that caramel color to it.
I think it's got a great nose. You can definitely get the maple off of it, get a little sweetness.
Yeah, I enjoy a little sweetness. That's nice, and it's smells smooth. It's not. It doesn't have the high ethanol you'd expect, like say, like maybe rare breed or something.
Right? Exactly. Exactly.
All right, for those of you tuning in, I did start my palate with rare breed, so this is going to have a kind of a juxtaposition, if you will, with the palate. So it'll be a good review for me.
Maybe I'm gonna have to finish this one and have another one to catch up with John a little bit. So
When you got the bottle, dive into it, man.
I got the bottle. Yeah, this one's mine. John's got a whoa. That's I love that. Just that first, just that first hit. I like a lot. So
All right.
pretty oaky and yeah, pretty oaky, little maple finish. Yeah,
Yeah.
let it kind of hang out on your palate a little bit. We'll talk about Seinfeld and we'll kind of come back and give our thoughts on it. So
Yeah, being I only have so much, I'll take it easy on that one.
exactly.
So this episode here, just notingly picked at random, as Josh and I have talked about with the show Seinfeld itself, where they have that character development throughout the seasons, and then you can see clearly there's a delineation. But after seeing season 5, with the characters are kind of running away with themselves with what they've done with the audience, as far as each character's kind of developed to their lane, and then they kind of run with that. And that's with this, having rewatched this episode, I found that it's the first season, right? And they're still trying to get this show to kick up, get signed for another season. They're trying to find out where these characters lie, um, and then really kind of find where the audience would agree with them, so that way you can kind of take off in that direction. Would you agree?
I agree. I agree. Yeah, we're very, very early. These guys are rewatching this one with this intention, right, of doing the podcast. You look really deep into the characters, and they're Jerry's pretty much the same as he stays the same most of the series. The other three are very different.
Well, yeah, yeah. So to that and just the character aspect of it. So what I saw was that with Elaine, you do get throughout a lot more of the seasons. You still get that she's very, very emotionally driven or heartfelt. She's got that soft spot for, as in this episode, she makes that remark when they're sitting down in the restaurant and they're ordering food, and Jerry orders, he wants to order tuna, and Elaine gives him the business about tuna, the dolphins are getting caught in the tuna nets. And so it convinces Jerry to order something different, despite him feeling that the entire premise of lunch is built around tuna salad sandwiches. So she's definitely soft for the animals. And you see that in the later episodes too, where like the fur, etc. So I feel like with that, as far as the character goes, they kind of still kind of going that route until it got annoying, and they were just like, "Who has the energy anymore?"
Right, exactly.
And I do feel like this episode in itself is pretty much a George episode. It's really driven around George, and at the end of it, and we'll discuss that too. You really see George come in to what George still is to the end of the show. So I just feel like it's character development.
And I think a lot of this episode shows me the dated aspect of Seinfeld. A lot of times I don't pick that up, especially in the later seasons, but especially in the beginning of this episode, Jerry's opener is very relevant, right? It's like go to a
Yes.
restaurant and you order a bunch of stuff and then you get the check, except for the cigarette butt and the mashed potatoes. You know,
Yeah.
we have this whole where we can smoke in restaurants, and later in the series you can't, so that kind of changes.
Yeah.
So that's all relevant. After that, it's gone. It feels very. I feel like us watching I Love Lucy in the '80s would feel like a kid watching this episode now. It feels really dated.
Yeah, and I
I
would
don't.
say that's contributed to the production of it. The lighting is really poor. You can tell
It
they're
is.
budgeted. They don't have
Yeah.
a bunch of money to play with right now at this point.
Right.
So that's where I keep thinking at least.
But even the concepts, I mean, a lot of things they talk about and the stocks in the newspapers and stuff like that. It's a little dated. I,
Yeah.
it, and we'll get to it later. It's not going to be one of my favorites for a lot of reasons, but that's one of them. It just felt a little, almost like grainy, right? It just felt a
Yeah.
little unpolished. There's some early episodes I like a lot. I like the pilot. I like the episode before this one where we introduced Vanessa, Jerry's girlfriend. I like the episode before this, and I can't remember the name of the episode, but I like that one. And, we'll talk about later. This is one of those rare times where a girlfriend goes through 2 episodes with Jerry, right? That just doesn't
Yeah.
happen. But yeah, it just feels dated to me.
Yeah, and but I mean, to each his own. I like it for that reason to some degree. I find it, as watching that episode, somebody who trades stock, I am sitting here just writhing over the fact that I'm like, "Well, how would you trade stock back then when I can just grab on my phone and just buy and sell as needed?" So, do we call somebody? Do we have to
You
wait
call,
between these
call your
hours?
broker. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Yep.
sitting here going, "Well, how would that work?" But let's go to the start from the beginning here. I
Yeah.
do like that point too when they're opening up because it's very true. When you're starving, you're at a restaurant as Jerry's opening with the show. You're hungry. You don't care about price. You're not seeing the price. You're ordering anything and everything. You're like a sultan. You just bring on more until you're full. At the end of the meal, you're just kind of like, this doesn't math up. Like, how did we spend so much money at this restaurant? Because now you're having logic take over, right? So you're just okay.
As I was just showing the camera, this is what I end up doing. I order these, and then if you're on the audio, I'm showing my nice little bourbon glass here. But
Hey,
I end up, yeah, there you go. Hey, look at that!
yeah,
Like we've been to Wild Turkey before or something there, buddy.
yeah.
But
For you listeners and viewers, yeah, really viewers. I try and switch up my glass each time. So take note. I think this is the first time Wild Turkey glass has made an appearance on the show.
Yeah, of course, John's in the Florida studio there, and I'm, some weeks to come, this Cleveland studio stuff might be done. We're hoping, but I'm in the Cleveland studio, and this is what I have. I have the Wild Turkey guy, and good little tip: if you're going to Wild Turkey, go upstairs, order a cocktail. $15 cocktails. They're amazing, by the way. $15 cocktails, but you get the glass,
Yes.
which is really cool. And you think, oh, that's gonna like wear off. I've washed this glass 30 times and the writing's still on there. So I mean, it's almost worth the price of the cocktail to get the nice glass. So there
100%.
you
I
go.
think I ordered a Russell's 13.
Yes. Yes, we did on that trip. I think we did. Did we get a cocktail too? I think we might have, but we definitely tried Russell's 13 that day, which John has a bottle and now I have a bottle, so that's pretty exciting. So
Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, we were this episode. It's character development. There's not much to it. There's some things that annoy me with it. Just going in from the very beginning. So the different characters with their scenarios. You have George who gets a tip with the stock trades. Jerry's trying to develop this relationship with Vanessa. Elaine is really I'd say that she's like the third story as far as like a hierarchy. Elaine's got a boyfriend that has a cat, and she's trying
and
to
that
deal with that, right?
and that barely comes up, right? I
Barely
mean, it's
comes up, but
almost
then
like a
yeah,
throwaway.
exactly. And then of all people, Kramer hardly is even in the show at all. He comes in and
Maybe
out just regarding the stock.
I think it's one scene, right? Just to make fun of Jerry. Oh, and he comes back at the end to say,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
He
but
actually
only
makes like
about the
2 or
stock.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, but just about the stock. Yeah, nothing on
Yeah.
his own.
Which is funny because I obviously they don't have anything for Kramer, and they're just like, "Well, let's see where it goes." And you can start to see his physical acting really kind of start into it, when he exits the, apartment or he's coming in, he's got the binoculars or whatever. So I'm like, that's the premise of the episode, but, the plot itself is that George is now they're sitting down, he's going through the paper, and he's telling them about a tip for a stock, Syndrax. And, his buddy, what was it? His buddy
Wilkinson, I
Simonson.
think.
If
Simonson.
Simonson was his friend who then knows Wilkinson, and
There you
so
go.
it's almost like insider trading, you know? Um,
Pretty much, yeah.
so then, yeah, Wilkinson's gonna tell him when to get out, but get into Syndrax, he's cleaning house. He's got millions into this thing. And so then George decides, and this is the part of the episode, I sat there and I did the math on all this, Josh. I'm tracking all of their buys and their sells, their investments on
Okay.
this. Yeah, because I'm just like, whatever, I'm gonna be a weirdo about this.
Sure.
So George decides to buy, he goes 5,000, 10,000, ultimately settles on 5,000. Jerry decides to go in for 2,500.
Right.
So just on the stock here. Then later on, Jerry is like, it's down 4 points. That's nearly half my money. And then it goes up an overall 4 points from their initial investment. So just on the stock, now I had to Google it, which I disagree with what Google says, is that
Okay.
Jerry loses 20, see, loses 1,500 out of his initial 2,500.
Okay.
George invests 5,000 and it says he nets 8,000. That part I don't understand because if it was, I evaluated, it's down 4 points. It's nearly half his money. He invested 2,500. So it's like what, $10 to $12 a share.
Yeah.
And so then I don't know how, if it went from 10 to 12 to like 16, how George nets 8,000 profit.
I'm gonna guess it's 1988, and it's episode 5 of a season, and probably Jerry and Larry don't have enough money to, so they're just gonna we're gonna throw out numbers, and nobody's gonna know what the heck we're talking about. That's what I would assume. But yeah,
Yeah.
I like your exploratory of the math, but I'm just gonna say that they didn't worry about the technicalities of if it made sense or not.
No, I definitely agree with that very much so. But
Yeah.
it's just the entire every time I watch this episode, I'm like, that right there, it kind of grinds my gears a little bit. Don't be lazy. Like you have a job as a writer, at least throw some accurate numbers out.
And I think episode 5 or season 5 or 6, they might have been a little more you know, a little more about what they were doing. Plus, they pronounce, I don't know if you noticed, they pronounce Syndrax differently throughout the
Yes.
whole episode. But that's okay because they don't know the company. So for them, it kind of fits, right? But they
Yeah.
pronounce it so many different ways all throughout the episode.
Yeah. And that even I was like, I'm not even gonna look it up and it's Sendrax, evidently on Google.
Syndrax, there you go.
Syndrax. Yeah, and that's
A,
how I
new way
heard it
to
multiple times.
televise opera, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous that company would be public, right? You think it would more be a penny stock with Wolf of Wall Street stuff, but
Oh
for
yeah.
some reason we're in the New York Stock Exchange with the televising opera for some reason.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like the stock price graph, right? The ticker. I see it just like going public and just plummeting and being a 13 cents a share stock. And I don't understand how it's, yeah, I can
Good
get the
old Syndrax.
volatility. I don't know. It's a penny stock. I agree with you. I don't, whatever. It's a show.
Yeah, Syndrax.
Yeah. So, going forward, Kramer, with regarding the stock, Kramer is super excited. I mean, gleeful. There's no question about
Yeah.
it. Jerry makes a remark about that. Every time that Kramer enters the episode, he's excited, gleeful about Jerry's losing money or the stock being down itself. Like, I
Yeah.
told you, you're going to learn, but you never hear Kramer make a remark like you shouldn't get into that.
Right. Yeah, that's all he's got. Yeah, I don't like that aspect of him, and we'll talk about it as we go. But I don't like the aspect of any of the characters in this episode, and that's what makes me not like this episode. I don't like in the beginning Jerry and Elaine are throwing shade on each other about their relationships, and yeah, they dated pretty recently, but you can tell they're both just kind of sticking it to each other. Kramer sticks it to Jerry, and I'm going to hold something for when we get to the end of the episode, but I don't like them. Jerry's kind of normal, and everybody else, I don't like their perspectives and what they're doing to each other, and I don't really enjoy the characters in this episode. I think quickly they probably figured out these weren't good directions, and they went other ways. But I should have done some research on maybe if this how received this episode was at the time. But I feel like this was probably not received very well.
Yeah, but I think they did a good job, at least not like delineating too far off of what they originally based these characters off of. So they may
Sure.
have skewed off a little bit, and then they're like, "Ooh, we kind of like more of a camaraderie," and that's what you'd end up seeing ultimately season
Yep.
7, 8, 9, right? You see more of a camaraderie. They get arrested
Yep.
for their camaraderie, right?
Right. There you go.
So yeah. Now Kramer again. Kramer does enter in the episode. This is talking about like their investments. You shouldn't get into that kind of stuff. He's throwing a little bit of shade, but then he goes, "You should have invested into my roll-out tie dispenser." Right? You get a mustard stain on your
Right.
shirt, and I do like how Jerry, and this is like you said, this is typical Jerry. He doesn't shy away from this, but how he kind of plays along with Kramer's antics sometimes. He doesn't take life too serious. So Kramer's going over, how about you got mustard stain on your tie? You tear it off, and out rolls another one. So Jerry kind of plays along with that. I think that's cool, and it is going along with what Kramer is as far as Kramerica Industries, right? He likes to invent, comes up with ideas. They never come to fruition, but there's Kramer's portion of the episode. Really, that's ultimately it.
Yep. Yep. I agree. I agree. And poor two, by the way. So that's good signs for numbers for you, 13th colony. John, unfortunately, only has his one pour, but he's liking it.
I did. It's nice. Yeah. We'll get into that one. So, and then the other part, they kind of where you start seeing George become George is like he's losing money, he's unhappy, he's stressed out. He's going to do anything for money? He's a cheapskate. Of course, he go through his roller coaster the whole show of him being financially stable, losing money, living with his parents, up and down, getting his own apartment, all that stuff. So you don't know where he's at financially, but he's investing more than Jerry is at this point. But he goes to the hospital to visit Wilkinson, the guy who's going to tell him when to sell. And Wilkinson throws him out of the hospital.
Yep.
So I'm like, that's George. George would cross social barriers to do stupid things for money, right?
Yep. Agreed.
Um, who was this Vanessa girl, right? The girlfriend?
I believe it's Vanessa. Yeah.
Yeah. When they were at Vermont, that was
Right.
pretty much Jerry's and part of the episode, taking Vanessa to Vermont, trying to further that relationship. She makes
Right.
a comment about, because he goes, what's that smell? Like the only conversation they could have at that hotel that one time, they couldn't think of anything. He goes, what's that smell? He goes, I can't tell you.
Right. Yep.
Like that's a piece of cheese right there. Like you're being a weirdo.
And it's supposed to be weird, right? It's supposed to be weird. And talking about them going to Vermont, I think the crazy thing is what were they planning on doing if it wasn't raining? Like we've been to Vermont, right? We've been up in that area. We know how rural Vermont is. And so what were you just take a walk? I mean, we're gonna go on a hike, but you could do that in the rain if you brought your rain gear. What were you going to do? Going to Ben and Jerry's? I mean, what were you gonna do if it wasn't raining?
Yeah.
You go to that kind of place to sit and read a book and chill out and have a drink. And I don't know what they were planning on. Oh, what can we do? It's raining.
Yeah.
Where were you going?
That's a good point because usually Vermont's known for its like hiking, its outdoorsy stuff.
Yeah,
Jerry's
but
not
it
any of
does
those
rain a
things.
lot. Yeah, it's the Northeast. It rains a lot. So what were you planning on? Yeah, exactly.
And then like he even made the comment too, like, did you want to get another room? Because you didn't really care for the separate faucets for the hot and cold. Like, are you serious? Like, that's the kind of person you are?
Yeah, and that's Jerry picking apart everything as usual. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, she seems like, a real winner. She does make another episode or makes 2 episodes. So I guess,
In the episode before, they seem very compatible, right? They're kind of, joking with each other and they seem compatible. And then he takes her to Vermont. I mean, George is right. It's a relationship killer. Going to Vermont, evidently, is, yeah, the
yeah,
trip. And the whole series, if somebody goes on a trip somewhere, oh, it's over. It's over. You
yeah.
can't do that because, they have the other one that they go to where they go to the Amish country. Is it? Yeah, or
Pennsylvania Dutch country.
yeah, Pennsylvania Dutch country. There you go,
Yeah.
Amish country. Yep, and that's anytime they're gonna go anywhere on a trip, it's done. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you can almost hit, a wagon, the horse and carriage, as we very well know, they don't appear very well at night, Josh.
As we know, Josh's night vision is not good. Don't let Josh drive at night. Which Josh owns an electric car now that drives itself. So at night we let that happen because it can see better than I can.
Yeah,
So
and for some weird reason, to run off on topic here, ladies and gentlemen viewing, uh, I'm nauseous at this point in this little backstory we're having here. I'm trying not to throw up all over the place. Josh, we're driving in the Pennsylvania Dutch country, and we almost had a horse and carriage, and you can't make that up. That's life.
black horse, black clothes, black carriage, no lights. I mean, maybe a little bit of light, like a lantern. I don't know what they had. But yeah, I'm pulling out of the parking lot and it appears, and I don't see him. John hadn't said anything. There might have been bad things happen. So John says, watch out. And oh, and there it was. So yeah, not great. But I mean, if you want to talk about stories of driving in the dark, me and John have got them, and it usually involves Josh driving and bad things almost happening. So yeah, and John either being nauseous or laughing so hysterically that he's about to pass out. One of the two. But
Well, we were near death at the other one. You might as well laugh.
I mean, I probably top 5 times in my life that I thought I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I don't know. I have no idea where I'm at. I don't know if I'm on the road. I'm gonna die. I mean, that's not even the worst. That's not the worst snow story. The other one was by myself in Wyoming, but here nor there. But that one's probably number two of I'm driving and I probably shouldn't be, and I probably should just pull off. And John wanted the big vehicle, and then the heads up display is in my face and blowing snow and trying to get to a hotel, and we got a full schedule the next day, so let's go. And I can't see, and altogether it was fun. John thought it was fun.
It
I didn't think it was
was.
fun. Yeah, John had a great time.
I mean, so, I've had several, too many near-death experiences, and I will say that what I've cultivated from that is if you fear death, you've never truly lived, and that's
There
how
you
I see
go.
it.
There you go. Come ride the train after dark in Cleveland, back from the airport. You'll have people smacking the windows and talking to themselves and asking you if you're a promoter for death fights, and So yeah, that's why Josh has been taking a lift from the airport and not riding the train back at 9:30 at night, because it's fun. It's a great time wondering if somebody's going to get on the train and rob you. It feels great.
That's like Zombieland, it sounds like. I'll just stay out of Cleveland, I'm good. I went to
Cleveland's a
Baltimore
love.
once, I won't go back.
Yeah, Cleveland's a lovely city. I mean, there are places I can think of worse. Baltimore, Chicago. Chicago's got parts that are okay. Cleveland is, yeah, it's I'm in Little Italy right now, which is a great little area. You want to come have some good Italian food and hang out and walk around? Great. Don't go anywhere else. Just don't. It's all a mess. So lots of potholes.
Alright, well, I love it. I love when we get sidetracked, but we'll get back on.
Anyway, Pennsylvania Dutch country, Jerry's girlfriends and taking trips.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, there
Um,
you go.
Something I didn't mention about the episode, though, I actually enjoy is when he's actually going back to the dry cleaners, and
Yeah, we haven't talked about the dry cleaner. Yeah,
yeah, his shirt is shrunk, it's a puppet. He just wants an
right.
admission of guilt, and I'm like, "That's funny." So and I'm thinking in my situation, I'd just throw the shirt out, wouldn't go back, I'm not gonna deal with the aggravation, especially what Jerry goes through, the aggravation, but he just wants an admission of guilt.
So I'm right there with Jerry. I don't even need the money. I just want to admit that you did something terrible, that you
Yeah,
gave me bad service. Be like, "Yep, I'm sorry, sir. That was terrible." Okay, great, no problem. I don't need the money. And I love that you think about you don't think about in the show they shrunk the shirt,
yeah,
but they just went and bought a kid's shirt, right? They just
yeah.
went and bought like some youth size shirt. We're like, this is Jerry's shirt. I always think those are kind of funny to think about how they made things and produced them. And my thing with dry cleaners is I never go dry cleaners. Like if I can help it, like a suit, I'm gonna wear it like 40 times before I clean it because where are the dry cleaners at? They're everywhere, but there's nowhere. Think about right now by your house. Where's the closest dry cleaner to your house? Do you even know?
I'd ask Doctor Google.
There you go. So you got to go ask a doctor, right? I don't know where they're every shopping center, by every Walmart, there's a dry cleaner, but you don't need them. And when you need them, you're like, "Where's the dry cleaner?" And you find out like 2 minutes from your house is a dry cleaner that you've seen 700 times, but you just gloss right over it and don't think about it. But
Oh, I try not to go to dry cleaner because I mean, every time I wear a suit, then there's like one wrinkle, and then to me, I'm like, I got to dry clean it now. So then I get the dry cleaners. In my experience, they're like, you need to stop coming here because you're not supposed to dry clean it this much. I'm like, are you just no? I don't want a wrinkle in my suit.
I mean, you're gonna sit down, it's gonna wrinkle. So just keep moving on with life. Yeah, no. I just my wife's got a steamer and we steam it, and move on. So
All right.
yeah,
Well, learning life lessons here. I'll just steam it next time. I got one of
I'll
those.
just steam it and move on. So and I agree with Jerry. Like I don't understand dry cleaning. I know they're doing some sort of chemical something, but I don't know how it works.
Yeah, you have
You
to be
know,
cleaning it with something. Like I don't get it. I don't get it either. It's like it's almost seems like a sort of magic wizardry to society, right? Like what really
it's all a
happens?
scam. It's all a scam. 80 guys in the back going, "We got a lot of sense today." I'm glad we're having fun with this one because I didn't have fun with this episode. I mean, we're gonna get to that, but it's just not one of my favorites. So I'm glad we're having fun talking about it. And of course, this is John in Denver in the car, ladies and gentlemen. This is in the barely breathing, crying while
Yeah.
I'm
So
almost dying.
now we have to give context to the audience, okay? So what Josh and I did is we were working together and we decided to take a 48-hour trip and we were going to we I think we just threw a dart at a map. Where would this what frontier?
I
We
asked
had
you
a
where you wanted to go. We had Frontier passes, and I was like, "Where do you want to go?" And you picked Denver, so we went.
Yeah, so we went to Denver and we get there and he's like, well, I got any car we can have, get the status, whatever. So I was like, get the Yukon XL Denali. And he was like, John, we don't really need that much vehicle. I said, but why not? Get the Yukon, get the biggest,
And
get
it
the
and it was huge,
it was massive. And so we get in it and immediately there's the heads up display in Josh's face.
right here, a big miles per hour right here in front of my face.
And not
I
even
couldn't get
low.
rid of it.
Yeah, not even like low. Like it's a heads in your face display. He can't see anything. So this is where I learned that, our vision is a little bit impaired, right? Like heavily impaired. We're driving in the snow at nighttime, and I want to say there was a cliff involved. I don't know.
No
No, okay.
clips.
I'm misremembering that one. But
Yeah,
Josh was, I guess, Josh, your genuine fear of something happening uh, you know, provided comedic relief, and I was finding it really entertaining. But we ended up using that car because we went to a casino, and I was like, "All right, I'm
yeah.
done." And I ended up like, there was all the room in the world, so I ended up like camping out in the back of this Yukon XL Denali, using every bit of that space.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we did 40. I mean, that was the best plan. I mean, I planned it. I'm the planner. And I mean, we did a lot in 48 hours. We went to a cool restaurant, which I keep sending you reels of people go to that restaurant. I'm always like, "Oh, look, we went
Yeah.
there, John." They always the Rocky Mountain oysters, right? But we didn't eat Rocky Mountain oysters.
Nope.
Yeah. And yeah, we went to a brewery, went up to Blackhawk to a casino. I mean, we did the thing over 48
Yeah,
hours.
it was no go, go, go. It was I remember that being the best breakfast I had ever had at that restaurant.
Yeah, yeah, we went to Estes Park and Rocky Mountain National Park, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I want to say the Post, but the Post is a restaurant in Louisville, so I don't think it's called the Post, but it's something like that. Yeah, and I had Huevos Rancheros, which were fantastic, and you had something else, and yeah. Hopefully our viewers are enjoying side stories because I mean maybe we'll start doing more of these. But what are we? I mean, I'm on bourbon too, so you can
Yeah.
tell life is good.
Well,
But
same here. I've
yeah,
had some pre-bourbon and I'm out having this bourbon, but yeah,
there you
no,
go. Yeah, saw the elk in Estes Park, and
right there
you know
outside of our restaurant, there's just elk just chilling there eating.
elk just hanging around. I see videos all the time. I love it. But yeah. So yeah, we almost died, but anyway, yeah, dry cleaning, and I don't know what the heck we were talking about.
So, anyways, getting back to it. So yeah, we both kind of made the comment. This show is not my ultimate favorite. At the end, let's go over the end though, real quick. That's kind of like the best part of
Yeah,
the show. At
yeah.
the ending, they talk about where they kind of settled. Jerry lost 1,500. He invested 2,500, lost 1,500. Uh, George invested 5,000, either netted, profited 8,000 or profited
It's
3,000, whatever.
it's a Hyundai.
Yeah, he's sitting there in a suit, smoking a cigar, like he, back in them days when you could, at a freaking diner. He's smoking a cigar and he's trying to buy everybody food, and he's like acting like a big daddy. I mean, even Jerry calls him out on it. But then he's acting like this big boss. Like that is where you see George. So you like that is ultimate George. And then at the tip at the end, he's taking it back from the waitress. You cheapskate bastard. Like
Yep.
that's George.
Yeah, and I'll make no qualms about it. George is my favorite character, right? By far. Jerry's always kind of 50-50. I like Kramer a lot. Elaine here and there, depending on the episode. And then George is my favorite character. And this one just is not him, right? This is the worst George. The confident, I have money George is, and they quickly figure that out, right? In the beginning, George has a job. He's real estate. He's got money.
Yeah.
I got this apartment I'm selling. I'm in New York. If he's a real estate agent in New York, he's doing well.
Yeah.
I got 5,000 to it, and all of a sudden, George is now a loser and has no money.
Yeah.
And that is the George I love. I love the just not confident, doesn't know really how to navigate life, doesn't really know. I love that George. Because even when he worked for the Yankees, he was probably making okay money until his secretary was making more money than him, right? But he's not this guy. I hate this guy. I don't like this guy. So at the end of this episode, I go, nope, I don't like this episode because now they've ruined George. Like we sort of ruined Kramer because Kramer like is all jazzing on Jerry and he's barely in it.
Yeah.
Elaine's kind of is cats and I'm allergic to cats and now I'm not with this guy anymore. And then, George is okay. Like he's on the couch and it's like normal George, I'm losing money. And then it's like, it's a Hyundai. And I'm like, I don't like you anymore.
That guy,
So
he's not my kind of guy. So,
definitely.
yeah, as you guys can tell, we're probably not the biggest fans in the episode, but every episode serves a purpose. It entertains, and again, I think that a lot of these early episodes in season one, especially, really do a lot of character development. You're going to see him kind of go off the rails, left and right, and then this one definitely went the wrong direction, and I think get back on track with what the audience found, viable, and that found to be a winner. Because Seinfeld's one of the top grossing shows of all time. So,
definitely.
you ready for ratings?
Let's do it.
All right. So going with the show, I'm gonna kick this one off. I'll give it a 3.9.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You got any reasons for that, or you think you already kind of stated your obvious there?
I think that it doesn't do too much for Elaine. Kramer's not really in the episode that much, and it's hard to say, like having watched it for the first time, whether you liked Kramer or not, because you don't know him yet from season 7, 8, 9, etc. Jerry's Jerry. There's just not much substance there. They're just trying to figure it out. But yeah, all the things we've said.
There you go. I'm gonna go even lower. We're both kind of thinking the same thing. And I mean, I definitely can think of 10 episodes I like worse, right? It just doesn't have a whole lot for me. I like that Jerry you get those anecdotes, right? About in a restaurant, the dry cleaner, and stuff that 30 years later is still very relevant. Other than that, I don't like it. They ruined George for me. It's probably my least favorite George episode. Besides, I won't say the other couple that I don't like him in, but those are worse. So when you ruin George for me, you ruin the episode. So we're at 2.9.
All right.
So 3.4 between the two. I didn't realize how much I hated this episode till I rewatched it. And I mean, me and John have seen these 10, 20, 30 times a piece already, but then we watch them with intentions on talking to you guys, right?
Yeah.
And so I kind of have to break it down a little more than normally would, right? Normally I can sit there and turn it on and I might be doing something else, or sometimes I'm watching it. If it's one of my favorites, I might be watching it directly, but I don't pick it apart. This one I went to pick it apart and went, why do I lie? Why am I watching this? It's just not great. And we don't want to be like the Seinfeld apologists. We don't want to always say, "Oh, it's okay." Sometimes it's just not good, and this is one of those. It's just not great. I don't think they thought about it, didn't fill it out, they didn't know the characters yet, so they're trying to figure them out. You're very right there, but I can't I have to take this episode as its own little microcosm, right?
Yeah.
And so 2.9, so 3.4. I think that's our lowest so far. I'd have to look back, but I'm thinking 3.4 is probably our lowest Seinfeld episode.
Well, we can live with that.
There you go. 13th Colony. I did not know much about them. This is the first, and there you go. John's finishing his off. I'm halfway through my second one. I will say this is the first 13th Colony I've ever had. I had this pour before and really liked it, but I'd had a few pours before that, so I kind of want to get back into it and see if I liked it on its own. And I like it a lot. I've got to get a hold of a double oaked of this because everybody says that's the one. And their double oaked is like this chestnut, like really dark color. And so
Mhm.
I think they really age it a while in that second oak barrel. So I want to get a hold of their double oak. I think it'll be maybe top 20. I'm going to go ahead and say. So 13th Colony, if you watch this, I'm going to tag you in it if you watch it, and you can even let me know where I can go grab a double oak. I'd love to grab it. We'll do a separate video for you and talk about it. But this maple finish is great. It's new as far as I know. There's no batch number on here or anything, but I think this is the first 2025 release. So I don't know if they've done a batch before. I'd never seen it before this, and this was my opportunity to kind of get into it. Finished bourbons, I think, take a small hit, right? Because you're some companies, definitely some distilleries are taking their bourbon and sort of trying to mask something, but I don't think that happened here.
Yeah.
I can taste the base bourbon, the vanilla and the caramel, and I enjoy it, but I also get the maple, right? I get the maple on the front and the back and on the nose, and I like all of it. So I'm gonna go 8-1.
Okay.
I think it's really hard for a finished bourbon to jump up into the nine
Yeah.
because you're having to do something else to give it some more character, right? You're not just relying on the mash bill and the years and the original barrel and how you might where you put that barrel and the water, because Kentucky's got that limestone water that we talk about that really makes your bourbon. And so, this is Georgia. We don't have the limestone water. I don't know if they're using Georgia water or what they're doing, but for a finished bourbon, second favorite finished bourbon ever. I will leave out what number one is because I would like for us to review it eventually on the channel. But as a finished bourbon, this is fantastic. So I'm gonna say 8-1.
8-1. Yeah, so for me, I love this. I again, I would have been, you know, I'm very guilty. Probably would not have seen this, picked it up. And I love everything about it. To go into the tatorisms of it, I love the bottle. It stands out. I love the little port bottle. The on the nose, it's very, very smooth. You get that kind of hint of that sweetness on the nose, and then on the palate, I love that transition because, like you said, there's that base bourbon coming through. It the little high ethanol note, but not too much. I get the maple right off the bat, and then you get a caramel. I'm not picking up the vanilla because when I think of a vanilla bourbon, I know what bourbon I'm thinking of, which will definitely be on the channel. But what's this one go for as far as cost? We didn't talk about that.
I believe I paid 60 for it. I believe that's what it was. I've seen it since. It's not hard to find. Total Wine everywhere. Total Wine, if you've got a Total Wine around, they have 13th Colony products. Usually I'll see the base and then I'll see the maple. And as much as I back when and still I see Penelope and I look, if I've got a Penelope section, I check the Penelope section because I'm looking for certain things.
Uh-huh.
Um, I keep checking the 13th Colony section because I'm looking for that double oaked now. I would love some comments on some people that have had it and like it and want to talk about it. So I keep seeing this one. So I'm thinking you're right around $60, which for this bottle, great. I think that's a fantastic buy.
Yeah, I love it. I love it for, you know, all the things that I've said. I am very intrigued with the double oaked. I would really hope that it would kind of match the maple flavor and that something's not overwhelming something else. I do want the balance to oak. There's that point where you're having too much of something, such as like Jameson double black. Uh, that's like eating a campfire. So I'm sorry. Yeah. So to me, or Jameson, no, Johnny Walker. Excuse me, Johnny Walker double
That's okay.
black.
There is a Jameson Black Label as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the
but
Johnny
I know what you
Walker
mean.
double black is like eating a coal campfire to me. I'm like, that's a
Yeah.
bit much, but to each his own. To me, there is that when you can get that little balance, and then the maple here on the note, like on the palate, it's really even, and it doesn't have that like a chemically. Again, it's not chemically, it's not artificially flavored, but it's just so well balanced. And shame on me for overlooking it. And that's what I love about the channel. Here we are introducing it. This is new to me, so I'm a big fan. I'm going to give it 7-9.
9. Thank you for the easy math there, Mr. John. That's an 8-0 on the Southern. I want to say Southern Colony. I'm mixing up things, and now we're two pours in. So 13th Colony Maplewood spiral finish. So what? It's not even they put in another barrel. I don't know if they did it in the bottles or how they did it, but they're putting spirals is what it says. It says Maplewood spirals is how they're finishing it.
Good, more
However they do
surface
it,
area.
yeah. However they're doing it, they're doing a good job. So that's going to be 8-0. That's a very, very high score for us, especially on a finished bourbon. So congrats, 13th Colony. You're doing a good job over there, and we enjoy you. So
Awesome.
yeah, I'll always vouch for my southern boys when they do a good job. So I know we had another video with Highwire Distillery where we talked about in the blind barrels. We did a blind barrel episode where we did a blind barrel kit that John had, and that was a lot of fun. If you want to go check that out. and we talked about the Jimmy Red bourbon from Highwire Distillery that we really enjoyed, and that's out of Charleston, and this is out of Georgia. So we got to put together a trip. We need to go visit some of these southern fellas that are outside Louisville and go check these distilleries out. So yeah, 13th Colony, good work, really good
Yes,
work.
sir. Indeed.
Well, my friend, if you don't have anything else, I think that might wrap up episode 10.
No, that's
Um,
pretty much it for the show, for the bourbon. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Let me know what you guys think. If you have something you of interest want to see on the show, if you want to see an episode, let us know. Communicate, and we'll try and get it together. But I appreciate you guys watching, listening. Appreciate it all.
Yeah, we're posting a lot of other things, so keep checking us out. If you have any other ideas, things you want to see, we love bourbon. We love talking about it. We love Seinfeld. We love talking about it. So we're gonna keep coming. Episode 10, and we'll get to 20 and 30 and 40, and soon we'll be at 100. So keep checking us out. We love talking to you guys. So
Awesome.
all right, John, appreciate it, man.
All right, see
We'll
you.
do it again soon.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. All right, thank you.